So you want to live in downtown St. Pete? Me too. And we aren't alone. Downtown St. Pete is one of the most desirable areas to live in the whole Tampa Bay area. So why does everybody want to move there? And how much does it cost to live there? Hey everybody, this is Melanie Atkinson, realtor with Smith & Associates in beautiful Tampa Bay, Florida, and today we're going to talk about one of the most coveted areas to live in the Tampa Bay area, downtown St. Pete. So why does everybody want to move to downtown St. Pete? Well, honestly, it's just a really cool and really beautiful place to live. Let's check out the reasons why. Downtown St. Pete really does have it all. The whole bayfront is lined with gorgeous parks that host different festivals and events throughout the year. It's the perfect place for a long walk with your pet, a bike ride, or just to sit and enjoy the beautiful water view. There are some amazing art galleries in downtown St. Pete, including the Salvador Dali Museum, the Chihuly Collection, which is home to some of the most stunning glass art, and right on Beach Drive, there's the Museum of Fine Arts. If you feel like shopping, downtown St. Pete has lots of options for you, from national store brands to some really nice local boutiques. These stores are throughout the entire downtown, but check out the Sundial area for a concentration of some of those larger national store brands. So the restaurants in downtown St. Pete could be an episode all on their own. There are so many amazing choices, it's really hard to go wrong. Whatever you're in the mood for, they have there. I don't think I've ever had a bad meal in downtown St. Pete. Some of the most beautiful outdoor dining choices are in downtown St. Pete. Check out most of the restaurants that line Beach Drive. The views are spectacular. I'll give a shout out to some of my favorite restaurants down there, but again, you can't really go wrong, so try them all out. Anada on Beach Drive is a modern wine bar that has some of the best charcuterie I've ever had in the area. The Mill on Central Avenue is modern American food with some of the best craft cocktails in town. Another awesome modern American restaurant is Stillwater's Tavern, and that is a gorgeous restaurant with really great food. If you're a grilled cheese fan like me, check out Central Melt on Central Avenue and get the fries too. On Central Avenue as well is Booyah Restaurant, which has some really amazing ramen dishes. And finally, Hawker's is Asian Fusion. It is a small chain restaurant, but one of my favorites to go to before a Tampa Bay Rays game. And speaking of the Tampa Bay Rays, that brings me to the next great thing about living in downtown St. Pete, the sports teams. Now I know that people have strong opinions about the Tampa Bay Rays and Tropicana Fields, but I'll let the experts, the owners, and the politicians deal with all of that. What I know is that as a fan, if I'm going to a baseball game in the middle of August, I am really glad that it's inside, 72 degrees, and I don't have to deal with the rain that's going on outside. The other sports option that is in downtown St. Pete is at Al Lang Stadium, which is where the Tampa Bay Rowdies play. The Rowdies are a professional soccer team that play in the USL Championship, which is the Division II league. If you're not a sports fan but you do enjoy a good cocktail, downtown St. Pete has an abundance of choices for you. The thriving nightlife is one of the things that really has put downtown St. Pete on the map. One of my favorite spots as the sun is going down is the rooftop bar at the Birchwood restaurant called the Canopy. It'll give you many Instagram-worthy backdrops, and you can also rent a cabana. If you're a champagne or a whiskey fan, you can check out the sophisticated Flute and Dram, which serves some of the finest champagne, whiskey, scotch, and bourbon. If you don't need to drink anything that fancy, just walk down Central Avenue and the surrounding streets and you will absolutely be able to find a bar that's perfect for you. Also, if you love a good brewery, there are tons in St. Pete. I'll just name a few that are closest to downtown. You have Cycle Brewing, Green Bench Brewing, and Overflow Brewing Company. But if breweries are your thing, please do a search of local breweries because there are a ton in St. Pete in general. If you're a music lover like I am, there are plenty of live music choices for you in downtown St. Pete. You can check out a show at the Mahaffey Theater, or if you're looking for a smaller venue, you can go to Janice Live, which is an outdoor venue and always has a great lineup. There are music festivals throughout the year, and there's also some small bars and restaurants that have live music regularly, like Ruby's Elixir. And finally, if you're a beach person, downtown St. Pete is located on the east side of the Pinellas County Peninsula, whereas St. Pete Beach is located on the west side. But don't worry, the drive to the beach is only about 15 to 20 minutes from downtown St. Pete. So for those of you that prefer city living over beach living, downtown St. Pete is the best of both worlds because you get spectacular water views without the sand. And all of that just scratches the surface of downtown St. Pete. Now you can see a little bit more why people want to live there. It is a walkable city with a beautiful, inclusive, and vibrant energy. Okay, so now I've convinced you. Now, how do you live there? Well, that might be the downside of this episode. Because so many people want to live there and have already moved there, the area has become pretty expensive. If you want to live in the heart of downtown, you're probably going to have to live in a condo or a townhouse. A lot of the condos are high-rises. They range from small studios to penthouses. You may be able to find a few of those smaller condos for that $200,000 mark, but the median price in the heart of downtown is around $500,000, with prices that can go up well over $2 million. So what about rentals? The same is true for rentals. To be in the heart of the city, you are going to pay more. Look to pay at least $1,000 a month, with most of them being over $2,000 a month. If you don't want to live right in the city, but you want to be close and you want a single family home, just to the north of downtown St. Pete is one of my favorite neighborhoods in the whole Tampa Bay area. It's called the historic Old Northeast. The homes here have so much charm and character. A lot of them were built in the early 1900s. With the brick streets and the mature trees, this area is really easy to fall in love with. Again, this area doesn't come cheap. It ranges in price from around $400,000 to well over $1 million. The median sold price in that area at this time is around $650,000. Still too expensive for you? Well, I don't have good news for you yet, but I do have another really beautiful area to show you that's near downtown St. Pete, and it's called Snell Isle. Brightwaters Boulevard is one of the most beautiful and coveted streets in the whole Tampa Bay area, and it's easy to see why. The custom-built homes on Snell Isle range in age from 100 years old to brand new, and range in price from about the mid-400s to well over $3 million. It is an enviable place to live, but does have a hefty price tag. Whether you can afford it or not, it's still fun to look at all the pretty houses. So now if we keep going north from downtown, we end up in an area that has a lot of waterfront options. A lot of people have that boat in your backyard dream, and Venetian Isles provides a lot of opportunities to make that dream come true. Waterfront homes never come cheap, but they do provide a lifestyle that a lot of people come to Florida to get. Homes in Venetian Isles start around the high 500s, with the bulk of them being between $700,000 and $900,000. Okay, so we went through the expensive areas in and around downtown St. Pete. So are there any affordable options? The short answer to that is yes, of course. However, those more affordable options tend to be a little bit farther away from downtown St. Pete, or they have homes that need some TLC. But yes, you can find a single family home in St. Pete that's under $300,000. Remember that most of St. Pete was built a while ago, so a lot of the homes that you're going to be looking at are older homes. Be prepared to see a lot of traditional Florida-style ranch homes when you're looking in this area. So you were right in wanting to move to downtown St. Pete. It is as fun and beautiful as it seems. If the price tag is a little too much for you at this time, don't worry, you can live close by and take a drive into the city. There are always resale opportunities in this area and a couple new condo towers that are going to be going up as well. If you're in the market for any type of home in the St. Pete area, give me a call or a text and I'm happy to help you. St. Pete is one of my favorite areas to show houses in. If you're looking for something else to watch on my channel, check out Why Tampa. That video goes over the whole area in general, and I highlight some of the reasons that I love it so much. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you next time. With love, Melanie.